They now say that 2024 is the year of chaos, and rightfully so. Russia, China, Iran, Palestine, Israel, Hamas, the BRICS nations, the border crisis, Biden and Trump, nuclear tensions, a collapsing dollar, sanctions upon sanctions with war crimes, now Biden threatening Putin while Trump just tries to stay out of jail, and the world slowly burning while we all sit back and watch, and Americans also getting ready for a civil war while the left and the right split further and further apart, while the most important election in human history is getting closer and closer towards us. Unfortunately, there's not much we can do, so what we can do is absolutely critical. You watching this video have an upper hand against the rest, as only 1% of the population owns gold and silver, with their hard-earned money sitting like ducks in their bank account, slowly burning away at the mercy of a corrupt system literally designed to fail. There's a reason silver's a direct threat to the dollar. There's also a reason that central banks bought record amounts of gold and silver over the past year, along with several billionaires and the most successful, powerful people in the world. It's like they know something is coming. They are preparing, and I hope you are too.
Connection established.
Yesterday, an article came out titled "A Billion Reasons to Buy Silver as Gold Joins the Party." This is a very well-written article that gives many different examples and points of why you should be preserving your wealth in something that holds its value. So let's just jump straight into it. I did want to mention, if you want a chance to win free silver shipped straight to your front doorstep, all you have to do is click one button, which is subscribe. My 100,000 subscriber giveaway entry video is live. The link will be in the description and the pinned comment. I will be announcing the two winners' names while jumping out of an airplane. Yes, this is real. You do not want to miss it. It will be an epic sight to see. Now, in this week's market update, gold prices soared to new heights this week, with precious metals rising by more than 5%, last trading above $2,150 per troy ounce. Gold is at $2,194.30, while silver is at $24.63 an ounce. Let's see if it will break above that $25 psychological price range. Now, silver also rallied, last trading at $24.30. The 9% rally in silver saw it outperform gold to the upside, with the gold to silver ratio falling from 92-1 to 89-1 in the past 5 trading days, which we knew was going to happen. With the gold to silver ratio at such a high level, that means that gold is outperforming silver, or gold is overpriced compared to silver, or you could say silver is underpriced compared to gold. So obviously, silver is going to start outperforming gold as the ratio drops from 92-1 down to more natural and equal levels. The sharp move higher in precious metals occurred despite the calm in equity and FX markets, with the S&P 500 1% up for the week. Gold also rallied despite lukewarm sentiment and modest investor positioning, which bodes well for the price outlook. Now, in this news week, gold prices surged to all-time highs, with the price breaking out above $2,150. The 5% rally in gold's price now sees the precious metal trading 18% higher than where it was 1 year ago, when markets first began to panic due to the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank. If you guys remember that insane situation, which I'm sure was not the last to happen. This week's rally has been fueled by a number of factors, including remarks from Federal Chairman Jerome Powell, who gave a heightened indication that interest rate cuts may be on the way in the United States. The move higher in gold has caught some traders unaware, with speculators shorting the gold market or looking to cover positions. This was one of the subjects Saxo Bank discussed in detail in one of their most recent updates, with Ole Hansen, head of commodity strategy, and I quote, noting that gold's resilience during February, when the yellow metal ended up unchanged on the month despite the negative pull from a stronger dollar and rising bond yields after rate cut expectations deflated, with the first cut being delayed until June or later. Furthermore, the so-called paper gold investors in ETFs and futures have so far this year been net sellers of gold in ETFs by around 100 tons, while speculators in the futures market have halved their net long after selling around 190 tons. So the World Gold Council data shows continued buying from global central banks, who added their holdings for an 8th month, with 39 tons of metal added in the month of January alone. The trend in sales and purchases can be seen in the chart below. I was not exaggerating or kidding when I'm talking about all the world's central banks buying boatloads of gold and silver. Why are they, though? If gold and silver isn't worth anything, then why are all the banks buying so much of it? While many have questioned the sustainability of gold's price action in recent months, the outlook is beginning to turn, with $2,000 an ounce beginning to look like a price floor rather than a ceiling, which has been the perception of many for some time. So, analysts are now openly calling for higher gold prices, including ANZ, who sees further price upside. But is now the time for silver? While gold will always get more attention in the precious metals market, silver is also an incredibly popular investment, especially among retail investors who prefer bar and coin holdings. The case for silver was made clear in the recent release from the Silver Institute, who forecast global silver demand to rise to 1.2 billion ounces in 2024, the second highest level ever seen, also with the second year of record-breaking supply deficits. So here are 5 factors that encourage investors to add an allocation to silver in their portfolio. And remember, if you can't hold it, you do not own it. Number 1, inflation protection. Silver typically outperforms gold in the years that inflation is high, with returns close to 18%. We also have industrial use. Industrial demand for silver is at all-time highs. This will help support the market going forwards, as it provides an additional source of support over and above the monetary or investment demand, which gold is best known for, which also benefits silver. And that's why I call silver the best of both worlds. It has opportunity beyond gold, which is just simply a monetary metal. Historically cheap. The gold to silver ratio, which measures how many ounces of silver you need to buy an ounce of gold, is currently just below 90. That number is averaged closer to 60 over the long run and 30 in the past. This suggests silver is cheap relative to gold and reinforces idea that it may strongly outperform gold in the next precious metal bull market. And I definitely agree with that. Liquid and portable. Silver is very liquid, highly portable, and we could argue that situation a little bit in terms of storage space. You could fit $100,000 of gold in 2 hands, but $100,000 of silver won't even fit in a big shoebox. Remember, it's highly portable and available in small denomination investments from 1-ounce bars to 10-ounce bars, etc., and even smaller when we talk about fractional silver, which could be a great way to trade or barter. This can be extremely useful for investors. Also, bull market runs. In precious metals bull markets, silver typically leads the way. I mean, we talk about saying the term gold on steroids, and I mean that literally, because it's higher highs and lower lows. Steroids also have negative benefits. It has generated average returns close to 500% in 5 major bull market periods since the late 1970s. On the last point, current momentum in the precious metals market suggests we are on the cusp of a major move higher. Silver is very much the driver of this, with the price up 9% since the start of the month. If history is any guide, it's just getting started. This week's chart comes courtesy of Bob E. Unlimited, who published a thread of gold charts on Twitter this week that included the below, which shows both gold's price and the total amount of gold held in gold ETFs. This chart makes it clear there was a remarkably close correlation between the two up until early 2022. And not even talking about those two comparing together, we could also talk about silver comparing it to gold, or the remark I always mention, how silver is going to start taking on a life of its own, in my humble opinion, as they are used for 2 completely different things. So why are the prices so directly correlated, especially given that we are reaching record-breaking supply deficits for multiple years in a row, and that record is going to keep being broken over the next several years as we need more and more silver as we go green, but also since we are involved in so many wars, 5, possibly 6, including Iran, and that uses a lot of silver since silver is used in military with nuclear and weaponry missiles. I mean, there's 500 ounces of silver in a single Tomahawk missile. So when that monster box of Eagles, or that monster box of whatever, 500 ounces gets dropped from the sky, obliterated into the Earth's crust, it is never going to be recycled. Mentioning recycling, that puts a very small dent in the amount of silver we need. The biggest silver mine in America, which is Hecla Mining, only produced 16 million ounces of silver this year, with we have demand exceeding 1.2 billion ounces. Think about that for a second. Silver miners talking about 16 million ounces. The past couple years, it's been much less than that. 16 million ounces, but demand exceeding 1.2 billion ounces, and our reserves are getting ran dry. Think about that for a second. So, pot of gold, how high could gold go? On the 25th of February, my colleague Nicholas Frappel, the global head of institutional markets at ABC Refining, recorded his most recent pot of gold, brilliantly timed. It discusses a range of factors, the most notable of which is a pathway for gold to rise toward $2,500 an ounce. And, that would definitely push silver up as well. And remember, silver follows gold, but to higher extents. If gold's going to rise 5%, silver's going to rise 10%. If gold's going to drop 5%, silver's going to drop 10%. Not to those exact percentages, but you get the point. It's a more exaggerated, more dramatic version of the yellow metal. These are things to look at if you want a good idea of what silver is going to do or where silver is headed. We could check out some geopolitical news. We got some stuff going on in Haiti. Let's look at the Ukraine war, Europe's declaration of geopolitical independence. We have India press freedom at stake amid growing narrative management. There's just a lot going on around the world. Obviously, the State of the Union from Joe Biden is that was a big situation. A lot of people were impressed that he did not misspeak or fall over or fall asleep during his speech. He actually seemed quite awake and was very bold on a lot of his statements. Some of them were extremely worrying. One to note was how he threatened Putin, saying we are not going to back down and we're going to continue to aid these other countries with billions upon billions upon billions of dollars, and not even focusing on other things that maybe we should be. And where is all that money going to come from? We are $34 trillion in debt as it is. And like I mentioned in the introduction, only 1% of the population owns silver. That's very worrying, since I'm also mentioned that a lot of people's money is just sitting ducks, highly vulnerable in their bank accounts as the dollar erodes. And especially when we mention how most countries are opting out of the US dollar being the world's reserve currency, with the BRICS also going to be announcing their new currency, a digital currency backed by physical commodities, as we are purposely poking the bear. Seems like almost certainly going to cause havoc that is going to be irreversible and going to be at the stake at the cost of Americans. And that's the scariest part, is that all we can do is sit by. And like I also mentioned in the introduction, since all we can do is sit by and watch, what we can do, the opportunities that we do have, the leeway that we do have, we have to be absolutely critical about making the right decision, as a lot of people don't even know they have a decision to make. That's another reason I make my videos, because I try to reach the person that's never invested a single dollar in their entire life, that doesn't even know that America's $34 trillion in debt, that doesn't even know that they have an opportunity to preserve their wealth. We do, right? And if you don't invest in the gold and silver, that's on you. At least you have the opportunity to choose. A lot of people don't. Regardless, we still have a lot going on, and it's not like we're investing into gold and silver to get rich. There's going to be a price to pay, and we make a pretty penny, but at what cost? Especially given the fact that if silver jumps to $100, that might be bittersweet, because at what cost? What cost does that mean? Yeah, we make a pretty penny, but what is the world going to look like when that happens? What is going to happen to push that, to be the spark that causes that? That's the scariest part. So anyways, yeah, we have a lot going on. Silver chart, tremendously bullish setup. If anything, the silver price chart's phenomenal. Secular breakout attempt that is currently ongoing says it all. Silver is trying to stage a breakout. A move higher in the price of silver will trigger a strong bull run in the price of silver. And some price targets are $28, which is already approaching $34. And if it does break above $34, we could see $50 shortly after that, especially if gold keeps doing what it's already been doing. So yeah, there's a lot of potential here. I'm not going to say that silver is about to explode tomorrow, because I'm not going to try to give anyone false hope or put anyone into a situation that they're too confident. Because, especially with a channel that has an audience, I have to be very careful. I have to make sure you guys are, investing logically, investing safely, and not putting yourself in bad situations off of speculation or assumptions. That's something you also have to remember as an investor. And it's not even really investing. You're putting fake money into real money, but still, if you're spending 75% of your paycheck and not paying your bills, or leaving yourself with no liquid dollars in your bank, if, let's say, your car breaks down or something were to happen, God forbid, maybe you lose your job, and now all your money's in precious metals and you have to sell it just to pay that bill because you had no emergency cash stacked aside, that could be a bad situation, which happens to a lot of people. So anyways, I'm going to wrap this video up here. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember that I'm approaching 100, or we are approaching 100,000 subscribers. So make sure you subscribe and do not miss the giveaway video, because it's going to be epic, and I'm picking 2 different winners, so your chances just doubled. Thank you so much for tuning in. This was Silver Slayer, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace. This week's specials at Miles Franklin are 1 ounce silver maples, $3.39 over spot. 1 ounce palladium bars, $119 over spot. Gold Queen Elizabeth sovereigns, $26.99 over melt, plus a massive inventory, all great prices. Email me or call me, slayer@milesfranklin.com. I will hook you up.